Good vach and welcome to BJC Halacha Day, number 2106. Halacha Day keeps the Yetzer Hara away, dedicated in love and memory of Daniella, Tzvi Z'L, Neshama Aliyah, also dedicated for a refuah Shlama of Gdalya ben Shushana Miriam. He should have a speedy refuah Shlama. Okay, continuing with the laws of Erev Pesach that falls on Shabbos. Here we go in the Yetzer Hara. On this Shabbos, again, if Shabbos is Erev Pesach, meaning that Pesach night starts Saturday night, Motzei Shabbos, then on this Shabbos it is customary to read as the Haftarah the portion of Malachi, beginning, quote, then the offering of Judah and Jerusalem will be pleasing to Hashem, etc. This is an appropriate reading for the day of Erev Pesach because it is written in that passage, bring all the tithes into the storage house, etc. Says the footnote here, into the room in the Beis HaMikdash in the temple, where the tithes were stored. This reading is pertinent to this day, Erev Pesach that falls on Shabbos, because according to some authorities, the time of disposal of the tithes was on Erev Pesach of the 4th year of the Shemitah cycle. And on Erev Pesach of the 7th year of the Shemitah cycle, that is all the tithes that one separated for all of the previous 3 years from his produce, and that were still in his house, he's obligated at that time to give them to the Levi. So let's see some footnotes. Again, there's a 7-year cycle that ends with Shemitah, so the way it works is a farmer always has to give truma to a Kohen, a little portion. Our rabbi said that portion should be on the middle, at least a middle reasonable person should give 2%. If you're extra generous, you give 1/40th. If you're not so generous, 1/60th. But at the end of the day, 2%. Then you give the first tithe, 10% of the remaining, to a Levi. That you always do, every single year. Years 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. However, on years 1, 2, 4, and 5, you give another tithe called the Meiser Sheni, the second tithe, to 1, 2, 4, and 5 to yourself. Separated, and that you're going to end up using in Jerusalem, eating there. There's different laws, you can redeem it, etc. But years 3 and 6, you give that second tithe to the poor. Okay, that's the short explanation. Now, he says, final footnote, Meiser Rishon, the 10th of the produce that one is obligated to give to the Levi from produce that grows in Eretz Yisrael, other tithes must also be delivered to their proper destination by that time. Right, so again, we're talking about you get to do this before Pesach. For another reason for the custom of reading this Haftarah on the Shabbos, see Hachmas Shlama. Other congregations read that Haftarah only when it is not Erev Pesach, since when Erev Pesach falls on Shabbos, one may not actually dispose of the tithes. I was thinking that. The Lavush writes that some congregations read this Haftarah every Shabbos HaGadol, the Shabbos before Pesach, regardless of whether it is Erev Pesach or not. Lavush explains that the last verse of the passage referring to the final redemption reflects the tidings that Moshe gave the Jewish people of their redemption in Egypt. It is therefore appropriate for the Shabbos before Pesach. This final custom is also endorsed by the Igros Moshe. Fine, so there's what to talk about, but there you have it. Thanks for listening to the sponsor of Yetzer Hara 36 100 for the gold. Have a wonderful evening.